fellow traveler. Welcome to Third Eye Awakening, a podcast all about spiritual and psychic awakening, where we talk about the shift from 3D to 5D consciousness, the nature of time, space, the universe, multi-dimensions, starseeds, the Akashic Records, all that good shit. I am your host, Amy Melissa. Thank you so much for being here with me today. All right, let's do this. Hi, beautiful radiant beings. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Third Eye Awakening. Well, I have another channeling to share. I guess I'm on a bit of a roll, but honestly, I've been channeling for at least 3 years now, but I just haven't shared them because I felt scared to share them. So it feels really good to share them. I hope that they are benefiting you in some way, but I just have to trust that they're coming through me and benefiting me, but they're not just for me. I've known that for since, I guess it was 2017 when I first was like, oh fuck, these are supposed to be shared. It's taken me a while. Anyway, I channeled this one while I was driving. A lot of my channelings, I'd say most of my channelings seem to come through when I'm driving, which has been very annoying in the past because I haven't been able to do anything with them. Like I can't write them down as they're coming through. But this year I had the stroke of genius to record them on voice memo. So I have a few of them saved up, but this one just came through this past week. It's about the idea of purpose and how we have equated it with jobs and careers in this life. I know I certainly have. And it's sort of something that came through me to help illuminate the fact that is really, really like sort of, on one hand, it's old paradigm thinking, but it's also like a really recent kind of in human history and human consciousness. It's a really recent sort of weird thing that we have created for ourselves, I guess, like this idea of job or career needing to be equated with purpose and being like one of the central things that we focus ourselves on, rather than just like the enjoyment of life and existence in human bodies and experiencing the third, fourth, and fifth dimension through human bodies and all of our senses, and the wondrous experience that is. We have created this concept of jobs and careers in exchange for our survival, justifying our existence. And we start to equate purpose with that because we can feel that it doesn't actually make any sense to spend most of our time working jobs that don't, resonate with our inherent purpose. You know what I mean? Like, so the next step has been to say, well, if I have a purpose, that I must need to align my career with my purpose, which doesn't make, it makes some sense, but what came through me the other day is that we've been going about it in a backwards way, and still putting so much emphasis on this fabricated concept of a career that really is just a product of our imagination. It's not a thing that exists on Earth. If you watch animals and plants and the rest of all of earth-based creation as it unfolds, no one else is justifying their existence through a career. It's only humans that do that, and it's not all human cultures that do that, but it is the particular culture that I exist in, which is Western culture. And then some others as well. I can never claim to know all about all the cultures, human cultures on Earth, even that exist right now, let alone that have existed throughout the past and, are probable within the future. So I'm always only ever speaking and channeling from my perspective and funneling the information that comes through through the lens of my own psyche and my own experience. So if this doesn't resonate with you, and if you feel like it's too narrow too narrowly defined, then I hope you'll love me anyway and know that I'm not claiming to have the answers to everything. Not even a little bit, my friends. I am a fucking human for sure. And I have my own human struggles and limitations. At any rate, my intros are so long. I'm so sorry. I will wrap it up and let you have a listen. And I hope that it brings you some sense of freedom from the idea that you have to live out a complicated, really specific, narrowly defined purpose through the vehicle of a career. Love you. This is what I understand about soul purpose in a given incarnation or even series of incarnations. A lot of people right now, incarnated as humans on earth, who are in the vibrational vicinity of the great shift we're experiencing towards 5D consciousness, an enhanced and accelerated vibration of consciousness, they are feeling the dissonance between the natural rhythm of life and the construct we have created, the matrix we have created from the patriarchal duality-based paradigm that plays out in sort of a industrial, post-industrial, 9-to-5 sort of work-centered existence. So that was a really wordy way of putting it. A wordy way of basically saying that people can feel that what we have created as our construct, the way that we have literally constructed our systems and our society, does not match with the natural rhythms and frequency of Earth and everything inherent to Earth. And we are inherent to Earth. So we are feeling this tug of war within us, where the Earth's rhythms dominate us regardless of how much we separate ourselves from them and how much we mask them. Her pull is greater. Her pull is greater because she just is, and we are of her. We are literally made of her. We eat of her. We contribute to her with our excrement, with our exhales, with the return of our bodies after we die. We are of Earth, and so the rhythms and pulses of Earth dominate. But we've really separated ourselves from them, and we can feel that this isn't working. Whether somebody has an actual conscious pull back towards nature doesn't matter. Even if they seem to be happily existing, very separate from nature, in a very yang heavy paradigm of working and adrenal fatigue, there is still that feeling of something isn't right. There's an imbalance. We've disconnected ourselves from the natural rhythms. And so for a lot of people, they just inherently have this awareness that this isn't what life is supposed to be, and this isn't fucking why we came. Like, when when we were born into human bodies, when we decided to come back as human beings, we didn't come back to toil at jobs that don't mean anything to us and don't contribute in a meaningful way to the earth and community and society, and the collective as a whole. And so we feel very frustrated and like we're searching for our purpose. Why did I come here then? Why did I come here? What's my purpose? And my understanding of purpose, what I've come to understand, is that you know your purpose, and it is available to you at all times, and it does not in any way require any kind of apprenticeship or formal training or any kind of certificate or diploma or degree or any other validation for you to be able to live it out. That doesn't mean that you can't pursue any of those things. Sometimes people choose to pursue them because that offers them a different avenue for the expression of their purpose. But our purpose is inherent to us. So let me give you an example. My purpose is to anchor light specifically into the Bruce Peninsula and Bruce County of Ontario, Canada. And to anchor light into every interaction that I have, and to shine a beacon, which is why I've taken the name the North Star. A friend of mine years ago, complimented me by saying that if he could describe me in one word, it would be Polaris. And I was not very deliberate and conscious and in control of my energy and my frequency at that point. So I was so flattered by that, so flattered that was the word that he chose for me. And it stuck forever. It resonated so deeply. So that's my purpose. My purpose is to interact with people at a frequency of light. My purpose is to connect with people as their soul selves and to help spread this, basically just this light, this higher level of conscious frequency. And for years, I kept myself apart from that purpose without realizing that I was inherently living it, no matter what, in every tiny interaction. I got fixated on a job or a career. Like I had to have a career that reflected my purpose in order to live out my purpose. And it felt like I was eternally just waiting to finally get there so I could start, which I know is not a unique perspective. So many people feel that way. And that's not how it is at all. That's not at all how it is. I remember occasionally receiving guidance from, the the unseen realms that were reinforcing to me that my purpose is inherent and that I don't need any particular scenario or set of circumstances or vehicle to live it out. I remember working as a waitress, and I felt very dissatisfied in that job in so many ways because I thought I have more potential than this. I should be doing more than this. But I also remember realizing what an honor it was to serve people and what a difference I could make by giving them excellent service at a little kind of small town country diner, I might add. So it wasn't even a hoity-toity high-end restaurant, but I could tell that if I gave people impeccable service, not for the purpose of getting tips, but just for the purpose of loving people through that avenue, that I could completely change the energy of their whole day. And then I realized that the same could be with every single interaction that I had, just in going to the store, just the way I could smile at somebody, not because my smile is so excellent, but because a genuine smile is infectious and so beautiful. It can completely change a person's day, the interaction that you have with them. that's just, I got numerous reminders from my higher self and the etheric realms that I could live out my purpose every day, in every moment. I did not need a particular career path. But boy, did my ego, like, it received the messages, but it was so fixated on this career. So fixated on the career. And it's only now that I've come full circle to, within this circle, to understand that the career is it's neither here nor there. Truly, it is neither here nor there. Your purpose is inherent. And for so many of us, our purpose is literally as simple as anchoring in the light, or spreading the light, or spreading the excitement about the higher frequencies available, or existing at a frequency of unconditional divine love, or sharing information in a way that has never been shared before and resonates deeply with people so that they have more clarity and lucidity in their lives. And none of us need any particular career in order to live that out. And what I'm really deeply realizing now is that when you just decide to surrender to the higher powers. So for me right now, I am surrendering to the goddess. I can feel her moving me. I've always been one to pray to God and the universe, and I don't think any sort of word that we have for any of the higher powers is superior. I honestly don't know. There is a distinction between them, but it only reaches so far, because ultimately we are all of the same all source. And so, but for me right now, the goddess is the one that's resonating. I can feel her calling to me. I can feel her directing me. So I've finally had my ego softened and dissolved enough that I understand that all I have to do is surrender to her calling and be her ambassador on earth in all of my interactions. And I don't need to know what kind of career it's going to lead to or how it is going to unfold. It's going to unfold in a way that is more amazing than my human mind can conceive of from here. All I need to do is just do it, and everything will be orchestrated on my behalf to lead me into the perfect channels and circumstances and quote-unquote career to live out my purpose. So, and this is something I learned because I struggled a lot with wanting to be a midwife for so long, believing that was it. That was the career that would allow me to live out my purpose. Believing that and loving it, and then losing my baby in a way that was very traumatic, and then with that feeling that midwifery wasn't a fit, and still trying to force myself to go back to it, and loving the clients and loving the newborns and seeing how honored I was to be in the presence of such an amazing everyday miracle over and over again, but feeling that my purpose could be channeled through that career path. but that I didn't need that career path in order to exist in my purpose. And that trying to pursue prefabricated careers as a permission to exude our purpose is very misguided. Where if we live our purpose, we just live our purpose and accept it, then we are led to career paths that are in perfect alignment with its expression. And they may be prefabricated or they may be not, but things will be arranged so that even if they are prefabricated, they are in perfect resonance with our particular magic. When I do Akashic readings for people, I often get asked, what is my soul's purpose? And I really, I feel like an ass always giving these answers that are so simplistic, but it's what's coming through. It's the truth. So for example, I did a reading on a beautiful soul last month, and she wanted to know her soul's purpose and was wondering about a job. And I saw her at a bakery. I kept getting this information. I kept getting bakery. I kept seeing that she enjoyed preparing food. She enjoyed the transaction around feeding people. But what I received was that the bakery was not the important piece, that it didn't have to be a bakery. It didn't have to be anything in particular, that she was, it was like a front for energy laundering. Whatever job she decided to get into was a front for laundering energy, which was, I had never even thought of that term before, but they showed that it was like when people come in, they would interact with her. She'd be at the counter and they would interact with her, and she would receive their energy, and within herself she would be able to transmute and neutralize whatever sort of grit and residual grit is the best word, like grime, a residual grime anyone was carrying in their energy field. She would be able to receive their energy and cycle it through herself and remove all of that grime, neutralize it, not take anyone's energy away, not take anyone's pain. It would just filter through her and neutralize and cycle back. And then she would, in her interaction, she would leave people feeling more light and more high vibration than when they came in. And they wouldn't even realize that's what was happening, which was perfect, because a lot of people aren't ready for that on a conscious level yet. They just aren't ready, but they are wanting to have their burdens lessened. They want they want help to release things like that and neutralize things like that, but they aren't consciously at a place where they will seek that out from a healer. So she's healing people, and it doesn't matter what job she has. It's just she needs to interface with the public in the community that she finds herself in. And so this is what I mean about our purpose being so fucking important and yet so simple, and that the job is not the important thing. And that's true for all of us, even somebody as specialized as, like, let's say a heart surgeon. They might, if they are living out their purpose to begin with, if their purpose, let's say, is to heal the human heart and the circulation system within the human body, if they're existing in that frequency, and that is how they are interacting in the world, whether it's sharing knowledge about how the body works, or whether it's loving people, or whether it's just help, giving people a space to share their emotions, and the way that those, because emotions will solidify and become dense in the body if they don't get a space to be expressed and neutralized. So let's say if a child is here to work with the human heart and the circulatory system, and as the child grows up, they either become really interested in the heart and they share information about it with people, or they don't really know about the heart, but they love people and they allow people to share what's on their heart, then the universe will funnel them into the career that is the best avenue for them to play that out. And that might not be a lifelong career. That's the thing too, is that we want to figure it out and get our ducks in a row so that we can just be comfortable, enjoy the rest of the ride. But that's not the human nature at all. We might spend lifetimes in a career, a whole lifetime in a career, or we might spend a decade in a career, or we might spend half a decade in a career, and that doesn't invalidate that choice. So the universe will funnel that being into the best career for them to live out their purpose, because they are already in alignment with their purpose. They're already living out their purpose. But if they feel that purpose, that the human heart is important to them, and they want to help heal the human heart, and they believe the only or best way to do this is to become a heart surgeon, and they follow that path, even if it doesn't feel good, even if they hate the schooling process and it just doesn't feel right, they will still be living out their purpose, but it won't be in the best alignment for their particular coded frequency. That's what our purpose is. It is a code. It's a coded frequency that we are emanating into the world. And I guess my point is, we don't need a particular job ever to be able to emanate that coded frequency. And that's what the earth needs from us. That's what humanity needs from us. That's what the universe needs from us. And it's why we all came. We all have coded frequencies. So if you are feeling like you just want to know what the fuck you're here for and what you're supposed to do and what job you're supposed to do, try feeling into your coded frequency and understand that it's not going to look like a career right away. Don't worry about the career as much as possible. I know that's hard because we all have bills and we want to know how we're going to pay them. And we don't want to be in lack and struggle. We just want to be able to be ourselves in the world and have the money we need to make ends meet and not waste energy on stress, financial stress. I understand that. But as best as you can, remove the idea of a job or a career or the how or the what am I supposed to do, and tune into your coded frequency, because it is unique and it is important. It might be with healing animals or bridging human-animal communication. It might be bridging human-plant communication. It might be just with plants, never mind the humans. It might be with humans. It might be with the elderly. It might be with people transitioning out of life in palliative and hospice care. Or it might be with babies, or it might be with children, or it might even not be that specific. It might just be like mine, like anchoring light and connecting with souls. Whatever it is, feel into that coded frequency and then find the ways that you can live it out no matter what you're doing. Even if you work in a factory, there are ways, there are innumerable ways in every single day to live out your coded frequency. Find the ways to live it out. Surrender to the higher beings or the higher consciousness that resonates with you, and ask them to bring you more and more opportunities and bring to your awareness more and more opportunities to live out this coded frequency. And it will start to snowball, and it will take on a momentum of its own that leads you right into the most amazing, rewarding, fulfilling set of circumstances, whether it's a career or not, that you can imagine. And that will include financial well-being and security, whether it is in direct exchange for your coded frequency or if it is incidental. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter. Whether you get money in exchange for your specific gifts, or you just get money and you can more freely and purely share your specific gifts, it doesn't really matter. So this is a fairly new concept for me as well. I hope it resonates with somebody and helps you to feel like to remember how much you are needed, and to remember that we are always pretty much always making it a lot harder than it is, and that in every moment you are here on purpose, and you can live your purpose, and you know what your purpose is. You know what it is. You don't need to ask me or any other sort of clairvoyant or intuitive, although you can, of course, if you want confirmation, you can. But you know what your purpose is. And you are free to live it out in every moment. And the more we live it out, the more perfection and well-being we will experience within ourselves. Okay, that's it. Love you, fam. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that and found it helpful. One example of the messages I was getting through my, I don't know, I guess it feels like it's from my guides, about like telling me through my life that, particularly through my adult life, that I can live out my purpose, no problem, like nothing else is needed, no particular vehicle or pathway is needed. One of the examples is, I think I shared it in one of my episodes about my own spiritual awakening, but I really remember clearly receiving the vision combined with the knowing, the understanding of what the vision meant, of like a needle with that one drop, like, you know, when you have a syringe and a needle and you've drawn up some medication or whatever, something, and you're pushing it to the top so that there's no air in the injection. And of course, as you are pushing it through the syringe, there's this one little glistening drop at the top of the needle. Hi, baby. That's my daughter. We're hanging out in the car together. And so I got the image of that one drop of the fluid at the top of the needle, and that drop was pure, 100% concentrated, like no dilution love. And that is all that I need to live out my purpose. And I can offer it all the time, in every moment, in every interaction. Do I live up to that? Oh, fuck no. I try. And I'm a pretty friendly, loving person, I think, as most people who know me would say. But I certainly don't succeed in every interaction, in every moment, at giving that dose of pure concentrated love. And it's like love, but consciousness as well is what I received. Anyway, that's just another example of of what the messages, the confirmation that I've been getting for years that I just ignored for a really long time, or kind of like, I didn't really ignore it, but I also didn't fully integrate it. And I also was listening to a YouTube video last night about, was a guy, I think his name is Matt Lajoie. Anyway, he just has an interesting YouTube channel, and I just found it. And as I was listening, I was like, wow, like this is a guy living out his purpose. He is an information spreader. Like he is somebody who can collect information, like factual information, whereas I'm somebody who collects intuitive information from an emotional, sort of clairvoyant, claircognizant, empathic, intuitive level. He collects information, factual information, and probably combines it with claircognizance. He seems like a really conscious and lucid person, and he's able to like arrange it in a package that is clear and digestible and disseminate it through the public, which is so incredible. So that's somebody who's living out his purpose. He is also, all of us are here for the light. Everybody who's in search of their purpose, you're all here for the light. You are all here for the light, and you don't have to do it in any specific way. But like I was saying about the coded frequency, another way of describing it is like your particular energy signature, like your vibration has a specific pattern that is needed in the world for the multidimensional tapestry of like optimal unfolding of consciousness. And in particular, the illumination of the human psyche and spirit that we're experiencing right now in our own story. You have a particular energy signature, and that's a really good example of his energy signature. He is here for the light, but it specifically translates as somebody who can collect facts and sift through them and arrange them in a way that presents information that is understandable and digestible to specific people who need it from him, who need it to be filtered through his specific energy signature. But you're all here for the light. We are all here for the light. If you are asking what your purpose is, like I said, you know what it is. You know how it plays out. But one thing I know that I can tell you is that it's here for the light. It's here to contribute to this shift. If you're listening to this podcast, you are here to contribute to the shift. You are here to help shine a light into the darkness for people who don't have any awareness of the light. And I could go on and on. I can feel this turning into a channeling, a big rambling about star seeds and light workers, but I think I'm just going to have to hold off on that one because I'm sitting in my back seat in a parked car in February with my daughter, who is not even 2 yet. So it's not an optimal time to go into a long rambling channel. But I will definitely channel on star seeds and light workers and more about purpose and share it in an upcoming episode. Anyway, I hope you're all having a beautiful day. Thank you for being here with me. As always, I appreciate it from the depths of my soul and the bottom of my heart. You are incredibly important on earth, in the universe, in this life. You are so important. You are so powerful and influential, and you are pure magic. I hope that you remember that somewhere within you, that you remember that that is true. And I will catch you next time. Have a great day, fam. Thanks again so much for joining me. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, share this episode with anyone with whom you believe that this would resonate, and share it on social media. Thanks, guys.